Hey everybody, it's Dr. Dave, Psychiatry. Thanks for coming to the YouTube channel today, reminding you that if medication fixes your problem, that makes it a medical problem, not a mental problem. I heard something yesterday on the internet. I just had to jump in today on the camera and make a video because in some ways it upsets me a lot. Now, I don't want to get on a rant and look all upset because people don't like to watch videos when you're angry about something, but this is really a big deal to me. So I hope as you watch it, you understand that really what I'm trying to convey is that there's professional ways for psychiatrists to conduct themselves, and there's unprofessional ways to conduct themselves. So honestly, the way we get our news today from the internet, I don't even know if this really happened, but I was watching a series of YouTube shorts, and I saw something, and I think the talk show was Piers Morgan, and he was talking to what I believe to be a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist was talking about how the current president is, as he called it, non-compos mentis, which I think is a legal term that means mentally incompetent. Well, that's a discussion that's on the internet. And my first thought is, okay, if this guy is really a psychiatrist, number one, has he even met the president of the United States? So this is April of 2026. So there's a war going on in Iran. There's a bunch of people that think Donald J. Trump is doing good stuff. There's a bunch of people that think Donald J. Trump is doing bad stuff. And so in the United States, we have that discussion about, are we moving the right direction or the wrong direction? So that's a discussion we can have. But when a medical professional gets on a media platform and starts to talk about this stuff, I view that as really questionable territory, and especially when that individual starts saying things like, well, he's mentally incompetent. My question would be, has this physician psychiatrist, which if he is, I'm going to also, it could be AI, I don't know. But if a psychiatrist is saying that a person is mentally incompetent, I would presume as a psychiatrist that he has evaluated that patient. We don't declare people mentally incompetent having never met them. We evaluate patients and we make that determination by doing things that we have to do as doctors, asking the right questions. If you've seen my video on dementia, which a lot of people say Donald Trump is demented, well, if you've seen that video, you understand dementia is a memory problem, and there's a way to evaluate that. And I personally can sit down with anybody, this president or any previous president or any future president, interview them, ask the right questions, and have a pretty high likelihood of screening whether or not a person has dementia. Of course, you have to do testing after that. But a diagnosis of dementia is something that can be arrived at, but it must be arrived at after evaluating the patient personally. You don't arrive at a diagnosis of dementia or mental incompetence by what someone does that you know about, that is you've never personally evaluated. A psychiatrist who is giving an opinion about somebody that has never talked to that person, evaluated the person, has never been entrusted with personal information, cannot, by definition, cannot make a diagnosis of mentally incompetent. It can't be done. So what disturbs me is that you give somebody a platform, you pay him some money maybe, or you make him a little famous so he can tell his friends, well, I was on TV with this talk show host and I got to, say whether or not I believe the president is mentally incompetent. Well, you can't say that without having evaluated somebody. And just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that your opinion is valid. The same thing they could have said, and I'm sure some people did say the same thing about the previous president, Joe Biden, that he was mentally incompetent. Well, if you haven't evaluated him, if you're if it's just your opinion, if you're Joe the plumber, hey, we love plumbers because they do good work, and I appreciate the trades. But if you don't have any medical training and that's your opinion that somebody's sort of losing it, well, that's your opinion. It's not professional any more than to be professional for me to try to fix my own, plumbing problem at home. So as a medical professional, guys that call themselves and have a license to practice psychiatry, if they are rendering opinions and stating publicly opinions about people they've never met, well, number one, it's wrong. And number two, you should not trust them. The problem is the slippery slope is people have this perception of authority. And if that perception of authority gets misused, really bad things can happen. What kind of bad things am I talking about? If you lived in Soviet Russia after World War II, and you said something like, I don't think Joseph Stalin is a very good leader, or I think we should replace Joseph Stalin. Guess what Joseph Stalin did? He declared you mentally incompetent or crazy or mentally unstable, and he sent you to Siberia, to these places called the gulags, where you worked the rest of your life. And no, you didn't get any medical or brain chemistry medication or mental health treatment. You basically got sent to prison for the rest of your life because you spoke out. And if your opinion or your actions led you to be labeled mentally ill, when in fact that was not the case, if you just simply had an opinion, well, that's not America. That's Stalin. So today, if we have people that are actively using, quote, mental health reasons to change our government or to put people in prison, listen, it's really a slippery slope and it's really dangerous. And I don't know how to tell people not to listen to it. I am, as by definition, the internet hypocrite, because I say, hey, come to the internet and watch me, but don't watch the rest of the stuff that you see on the internet. This one yesterday, I just had to stop and say, this is so wrong, I have to make a video about it. When I see a psychiatrist saying, well, I think that this man is mentally incompetent, and I'm asking myself, did you interview him? Did you go to the White House or Bethesda Medical or Maryland Medical, wherever, and did you do a psychiatric eval like a professional would do? Or you simply disagree with what's going on? So you're saying, oh, he's out of control, he's mentally incompetent, I'm a psychiatrist. That's what I'm detecting. I'm hoping it was AI. I'm hoping that was an AI psychiatrist. Because if it was a real psychiatrist, not only would I question his professionalism, I question whether or not he's breaking some kind of law. I mean, I just don't think that and maybe he's not. I'm not a lawyer. I should just probably retract that. I didn't care if he's breaking the law, because what he's doing is wrong. And am I going to change anybody's viewpoint about that? I'm not on the Piers Morgan show. Nobody's paying me to go on the internet and say, hey, stop using mental health diagnoses against people, which is what I would say. They're not paying me to say that. That doesn't make for good television. You know what makes for good television? Oh, the president's this, the president's that. I'm a psychiatrist, so you need to trust me. No, don't trust that guy. Don't trust a medical professional that gives some kind of medical opinion for something that they've actually never evaluated. They're just blowing smoke. That's my opinion. A little bit of a rant today. Hope you forgive me for that. But it was important to me. I don't think they should be misusing my medical profession to basically for political purposes. I just don't think it's appropriate. I think it should stop. And I think the people that are doing it should be called out. So that's what I have to say about that today. Thanks for coming to the YouTube channel today. Thanks for letting me rant a little bit. I feel a little bit better now that I've ranted. And we'll see you again soon. I'm Dr. Dave Psychiatry. Thanks for coming to see me today.